Are your flower pots dying right now? If those June blossoms have thinned into bare stems with tired, crispy flowers clinging to the tips, stop! Do not throw them away. You are 10 minutes away from the biggest comeback of the summer. Not a comeback next spring, a massive explosion of color this week. Most people look at exhausted petunias or geraniums and assume the fierce heat has won. They assume the plant is simply dying of old age. Yet, there is a single technique grounded in proven plant science that pushes container plants to double their flowers. It forces them to hold vibrant color right up until the first frost of autumn. It costs nothing and requires no chemicals. I must warn you, however, it feels completely wrong the first time you do it. It goes against every gardening instinct. Most people never dare to try it because they fear making a fatal mistake. Today, I will show you exactly what to do this July to trigger a second spring. So, what is the secret? You are going to give your flower pots a hard cutback, a real, severe one. You will trim them down by a full third. I know how that sounds. It sounds like vandalism. It sounds like ruining what you spent money on. But this is the absolute secret to forcing a massive wave of new growth. Let me walk you through doing it safely. First, you need the right tool. Take a clean, razor-sharp pair of scissors or garden snips. Dull blades do not cut clean. They crush and tear stem tissue, leaving a ragged wound that invites bacteria and fungal infections. Take 10 seconds to wipe your blades down with rubbing alcohol before you begin. Look at the plant. Pick out the longest, most overgrown stems. These are all stalk and barely a leaf, hanging sadly over the edge. Cut each one back by roughly a third of its total length. You cannot just cut randomly anywhere, though. You must always cut just above a leaf node. The node is that small joint where a leaf meets the main stem. That node is the exact biological epicenter where new branches will emerge. Work steadily around the whole container. Shape it into a soft, uniform mound. Cut it lower around the outer rim and leave it fuller and taller through the center. When you step back, it should look neat and rounded, never violently stripped bare. Here is the one critical slip that can undo your hard work. Never cut the entire pot down to naked, leafless stubs in a single afternoon. If you strip away every leaf at once, you rob the plant of the engine it uses to photosynthesize and rebuild. If your nerve wavers, split the job. Take down half the stems today, evenly distributed. Then, do the other half 7 days later. This ensures healthy green foliage is left to fuel regrowth. Timing your cut is crucial. Never do this in the middle of a blazing hot afternoon. A fresh cut loses water rapidly. If a plant battles an open wound while enduring savage summer heat, it recovers far more slowly. Do your trimming on an overcast day, or wait for the calm, cooler air of the evening once the sun loses its bite. Hold on. Why are we intentionally chopping off flowers? Here is the secret nobody tells you. Every annual flower you planted lives to do one thing: reproduce. Its sole biological imperative is to make seed to ensure survival. When a flower opens, gets pollinated, and fades, the plant begins building a seed pod. The instant it senses it has set enough seed, internal priorities flip completely. It immediately pulls energy away from producing colorful flowers and pours all resources into ripening the seed. Your plant is not dying in July. It simply believes its real work is finished. Pouring more liquid fertilizer onto a plant that has decided its season is over is useless. It is like flooring the gas pedal of a car stuck in neutral. The engine roars. You waste expensive feed. The plant goes nowhere. You must reach inside the biology of the plant and flip its internal switch back to active growing mode. That is exactly what your scissors just did. Let us look at the fascinating mechanics of this. At the very tip of every stem sits a microscopic growing point. This dominant tip constantly produces a powerful plant hormone called auxin. Auxin flows downward, acting like a chemical brake. It intentionally keeps all side buds sitting lower down, fast asleep, and dormant. Botanists call this apical dominance. So, what does this actually mean for you? The moment you take your snips and cut that tip off, you instantly sever the supply of auxin. The chemical brake is released. The instant that hormone signal vanishes, all those sleeping side buds suddenly wake up. They realize they are no longer suppressed and spring into vigorous growth. Where you previously had just one stringy stem, the plant now sends out 2, 3, or even 4 new side branches. And here is the magic. Every single one of those new branches eventually ends in a fresh, vibrant flowering tip. You are multiplying the real estate where flowers can grow. Here is the catch, though. The cut itself is only half of the equation. You have given the biological signal to grow. Now you must provide fuel. The instant you finish trimming, water deeply until it runs clear from the bottom drainage holes. Every new shoot needs immediate moisture to expand its cells. However, water alone is not enough. You must feed it. Here is the harsh truth about container gardening. Plants grown in pots are incredibly heavy feeders. Every single time you water your pots, essential nutrients wash straight out the bottom, leaving the potting soil completely depleted by midsummer. Reach for a high-quality, bloom-focused water-soluble fertilizer. You are looking for something carrying plenty of potassium, the specific nutrient that directly regulates flowering. With the plant hormonally primed to build new branches, that liquid nutrition drives straight into those new shoots and flower buds instead of being wasted on a plant that has given up. To keep this massive explosion of color running all the way into autumn, make it a habit to keep pinching off faded blossoms before they form a seed pod. Every spent flower you remove blocks that stop blooming signal from firing. If you are finding this real, science-based approach to gardening helpful, please take a second to subscribe to Green Genius. And I want to see who is actually taking action today. Drop the word bloom in the comments below if you are going to cut your plants this week. So what should you actually expect to see? For the first 3 or 4 days, it will look like absolutely nothing is happening. Do not panic and do not overwater. Beneath the surface, the plant is frantically redirecting hormones and stored energy. Around day 5, look closely at the nodes. You will see tiny, bright green new shoots breaking out along every cut. By the close of the second week, those tiny shoots will have grown into lush, leafy branches crowded with tight buds. And by week 3, the massive payoff finally lands. You will step outside to a mounded, overflowing pot carrying roughly double the flowers it held before. It will be blooming at maximum strength at the exact moment every other container on your street is turning crisp and fading fast. There is a profound kind of joy in stepping outside on a late summer morning to see your pots bursting with life. 10 minutes and a pair of scissors is all it takes to earn that feeling. Go give your tiredest pot that cutback this week and watch what it becomes. And if you want to shield all that fragile, fresh new growth from the brutal July heat, the watering guide on your screen right now shows you exactly how to do it. I will see you over there.